I was actually recently briefed on the reports that Anthropic's Claude AI model was used by a suspected Chinese state-sponsored group to conduct a large-scale automated cyber espionage campaign on roughly 30 organizations globally. Would you mind sharing with the committee on what you know about this incident, and if you have any suggestions or recommendations on how to mitigate this type of attack in the future?
Sure. I mean, the background of the case, as you mentioned, was one of the Anthropic tools, right? AI systems have been used for automating data, what we call it data exfiltration, which means stealing data from the network by believed to be a Chinese operator, right? Adversarial operator. And I can tell you that based on our knowledge and what we understand from the attack, the main reason that that specific system has been used is because it is more focused on optimizing the code and it is much more accurate, and that was what the adversaries were after. But it doesn't mean that that capability is only limited to Anthropic or Anthropic systems, right? Adversaries are normally using AI automation based on the objective that they have in mind. So if they want, for example, to steal a copyrighted information, they may choose OpenAI platforms because that's better in text recognition. If they are going after codes, they may go with Anthropic systems, right? So that's like the more context. Because what I want to highlight is usually from the adversary point of view, they don't care who is behind this AI. They're just more interested on the skills or the capability of that AI technology or that AI systems. The second part of your question, I believe, was more on what we can do, right?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I was using Anthropic as an example because they just recently published a report, but it is open source AI. And yes, the second part is more what I'd like to talk about. How do we mitigate that risk in the future?
Right. As I mentioned in the answer to the previous question, currently the response time for the cybersecurity people are squeezed significantly, which means the moment adversaries are in, it takes minutes for them to achieve their objectives using AI and automation. What we should do is, at the enterprise level, we should create a layer, as I mentioned, between the AI applications and AI foundational models, that layer is controlled by the company, by the enterprise. So even if an adversary wants to use, say, Anthropic or any other foundational model capabilities, they need to go through that control layer and hopefully being detected on that layer, right? That's one thing that we can do at the enterprise defense level. On the other side, we need to invest significantly on detection of the deployment or usage of the AI, which is not approved in the enterprise. You know, these days, even the technology that is available is very limited to the, even enterprise organizations, big organizations, to identify if a specific skill or a specific activity that is done by the AI is legitimate or following their policy or not. Advancement on that could help us significantly to identify what is allowed and what is not allowed in the system that could limit the adversary's capability once they are in the network.
Thank you for that. In my community, Kitchener Centre, Canada's innovation capital, we see advanced manufacturing and tech innovation go hand in hand. How can Canada better align its cybersecurity and AI strategies to both protect these industries and ensure they remain competitive globally?
I mean, when AI meets manufacturing, we are looking at the risk of physical AI, which means devices are able to take and make new actions, new activities. What we need to focus on is controlling what kind of skill sets, what kind of action that AI system can do. So we need to support both startups in your area that is focused on controlling the AI, as well as the startups that are more focused on how the policy can be applied, can be integrated into AI actions.